VIER REITER. Oktoberfest Jahresbier.
Welcome back to the Four Horsemen. Let's have a little fun. This is Tom from Spork Syndicate, together with Skip from Crossroad Diecast Speed Shop, Paul from Diecast Graveyard, and Andrew from Maple Leaf Customs. We are the Four Horsemen. This month's build theme is Oktoberfest, and we welcome Daryl from Beer Does Diecast as our guest horseman. For my build, I'm using a pair of Hot Wheels Citroen H Vans. I've already harvested the wheels from these, but they'll get new ones when we're done. I love the utilitarian lines of this casting. I'm going to have one tow the other. Minus the wheels, the H Van has 4 basic parts: awful red glass, a body, an interior with a non-stock engine with a pair of NOS bottles, and a metal base, because this is a premium casting. Since one of these vans is going to be a trailer, I'm going to do a little body work. Off comes the nose and grille, and in its place will be the front assembly from a Matchbox motorcycle trailer, complete with a pair of tanks that I'll use, along with some extra 3D printed parts as half kegs to keep the party going. But after a nip and tuck, I need to clean up the castings with some steel wool. I'm going to add a big window here. This, and the open back, will be bars for people to get their big glasses of VIER REITER this Oktoberfest. The base of the second H-Van and the trailer needed a little customizing to mate with one another. First, I had to grind and file down the framework to match the flat floor of the van's base. Then, I measured and joined the parts first with glue and then with JB Weld to ensure a tight bond. Everything's coming along. I punch and drill holes for the sidebar window. I couldn't find a good angle once I threaded my jewelry saw through. So I had to use larger bits and titanium grinding heads and brute force the hole into existence. left a pretty big stack of metal shavings. Had to add a piece of metal to fortify the trailer's floor. It was flexing a bit. I covered the windshield and driver and passenger doors with styrene plastic and aluminum tubing. Since this is going to be a white vehicle with lots of decals on it, the loss of contours won't be as noticeable. Made a lot of custom decals for this build, starting with the VIER REITER logo, which is just the Four Horsemen against a Bavarian flag backdrop. I start by prepping the area with microset, but there's an issue. For some of these decals, I used sheets meant for inkjet printers in a laser printer. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but it made a difference. I gave the logo 2 tries and realized that I didn't have the logo on the correct sheet material. They're much more durable, and they won't disintegrate when I use a solvent like Microsol. Okay, that's it. All right, Jackson, let's go.
Watching us take it out. All right, can I take it out?
Yeah. Let's see. Nice. I took Jackson with me to Haven Media Studios, where I have an office, and we reprinted the Oktoberfest decals on the correct sheets. Back from the studio with proper decals, everything comes together fast. Forgot the trailer hitch. Thanks again to Daryl from Beer Does Diecast for being our guest horseman this month. Our November theme is RV. Make any casting into a camper. And we welcome God Zugadan as our guest horseman. Four Horsemen diecast builds are open to all. You don't need a YouTube channel or social media presence to participate. All you need to do is join in. Customize a diecast car to the theme of our community build. But don't stop there. We want to celebrate your work and include it in our monthly recap videos. To be a part, be sure to email an in-focus, high-definition glamour shot on a widescreen format, preferably on a white background, to fourhorsemendiecast@gmail.com on the due date of the build, and it will be included in the recap video. And if you do have social media, be sure to use the hashtag #4HorsemenDiecast so others can find your work. And here's my work. I had a lot of fun with this little build. For the Four Horsemen, this is Tom. See you again real soon.